British theatre used to be all chandeliers and champagne. Then one play changed everything, and it smelled like cigarettes and resentment. Kitchen sink drama is a British cultural movement that exploded in the late 1950s and 60s. The term itself comes from a 1957 article criticizing John Osborne, and the critics meant it as an insult, but the writers, they owned it. The kitchen sink is a symbol of the mundane, the domestic, the unglamorous. These stories didn't happen in mansions. They happened in bedsits, in cramped northern flats, in pubs, in factories. Post-war Britain was supposed to be hopeful. The welfare state was built, the NHS was born, but for the working class, very little actually changed. The class ceiling was still there, invisible but iron. These writers were furious about it, and they wrote that fury onto the stage and page. This is also the era of the angry young men, a loose group of writers united not by a manifesto but by a mood, disillusionment, rebellion, and a refusal to be polite about inequality. Now let's talk names. First, we have John Osborne. He wrote Look Back in Anger in 1956. This is the founding text. The main character, Jimmy Porter, is educated but stuck in a dead-end job, raging at his wife, his class, his country. He's unlikable and magnetic at the same time. Then we have Arnold Wesker, who wrote the Wesker trilogy, Chicken Soup with Barley, Roots, and I'm talking about Jerusalem. He was deeply political, socialist, Jewish, working class. His plays are about whether idealism can survive real life. Then we have Shelagh Delaney. She wrote A Taste of Honey in 1958, written when she was just 18, a young working class girl, an absent mother, a black boyfriend, a gay friend. For 1958, this was radical. Then we have Alan Sillitoe, who wrote Saturday Night and Sunday Morning and The Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner. These are the novels of the movement. Arthur Seaton is your proto-kitchen sink anti-hero, factory worker, drinker, refuses to be tamed by the system kind of person. Then we have John Brain, who wrote Room at the Top, Ambition, Class Mobility, Moral Compromise. What happens when a working class man tries to climb up? This work talks about that. Now coming to the key themes. No drawing rooms, only dirty dishes. Before this movement, British theatre was set in elite spaces, clubs, estates, parlours. Kitchen sink drama said a cramped flat in Manchester is a valid stage. The ugliness of everyday life is the story. The hero is angry and he has every right to be. Jimmy Porter isn't evil or mad. He's brilliant and completely stuck. Too educated for his class, too working class for the elite. That specific frustration of being trapped between two worlds is the emotional core of the entire movement. Your kitchen table is political. Who does the dishes? Who controls the money? Why is she silent? These plays turned domestic routines into social critique. The personal wasn't just personal, it was proof of how class and gender oppress people quietly, daily. Then women suffer twice. Class already crushes these characters, but the women in these plays, like Jo in A Taste of Honey, Beatty in Roots, are also trapped by gender. They are ignored by the system and by the angry men around them. Delaney and Wesker made this visible. For the first time, the stage sounded like real Britain. Northern accents, slang, silence, awkward pauses, no eloquent monologues about honor, just people talking the way people actually talk. And that alone was revolutionary in 1956. 3 facts that you need to know about kitchen sink drama. The first one is who coined the term. The phrase kitchen sink was first used by art critic David Sylvester in 1954. He used it to describe a group of painters like John Bradby, who were painting domestic, unglamorous interiors. It only later got attached to theatre and literature. Then we have the second fact, that is, the critic who hated it most was Kenneth Tynan. He was actually one of the few mainstream critics who championed Osborne's look back in anger when everyone else dismissed it. His positive review in The Observer is what saved the play from obscurity and launched the movement. Who pushed back? The establishment theatre crowd, represented by figures like Noel Coward, openly despised it. Coward called the angry young men rootless and their work depressing and pointless. For him, theatre should elevate, not wallow. That clash between Coward's world and Osborne's world is basically the whole cultural battle in 1950s Britain in a nutshell. Kitchen sink drama also moved into cinema, what critics called the British New Wave or Free Cinema movement. Films like Saturday Night and Sunday Morning, written in 1960, and The Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner 1962 and Billy Liar 1963 brought this gritty realism onto the screen. Black and white, real locations, real accents, no glamour. And maybe that's why stories like these exist in the first place, not to give us perfect endings or heroes who have everything figured out, but to hold up a mirror, to show life as it really is. Cramped rooms, difficult conversations, unspoken dreams, the kind of reality that doesn't get cleaned up by the screen. That's what the kitchen sink drama movement was always about. Ordinary people, real struggles, no filters, no escape. So if this felt a little too real, a little too close to home, then maybe it did exactly what it was meant to do. Because sometimes the most powerful stories aren't the ones that take us somewhere else. They are the ones that force us to sit right here and look at what's already in front of us. So I'll see you in the next video. If you like this video, like and subscribe.